Hello artists, let's draw a crystal together. So you have this resource in your Google Classroom that has some ways to draw different crystals. I'm going to focus on this top one. I just like how that sort of diamond-y shape looks. So I'm going to pull up my document camera and I'm going to look at this little picture down in the corner to kind of help me with the directions. So for my art, well, first let's put our name on the back of our paper. For my art, I chose to turn my paper to be a diamond. You could also do it like a square. I just really like the idea of it being a diamond. And I'm going to draw my crystal in the corner of the paper. Now you could do it really anywhere you want. I chose to push it into one side, so then my rainbow can kind of be coming out of the crystal. So the first shape is a triangle, and then it looks like there's two short diagonal lines that sort of come in towards each other. Next, I'm going to have to look a little bigger. Okay, so I'm on step number 2. Now there's a flat horizontal line across the top. Oops. So let's do that. A flat horizontal line. And let's see what our next step is. Now a zigzag and then some lines down. Okay. So let's plan this zigzag to be kind of symmetrical. So what that means is I started on one side and did a diagonal, and then I did the exact same one over here so I can keep this all very balanced. Now I'm going to draw 3 lines down, 2 lines down, 2, and there is my beautiful diamond. Now I'm going to pause and Sharpie those lines. All right, artists, so I have my drawing Sharpied and I have some more supplies now. I have my water cup, and I have my big paintbrush and some tissue paper. So I have all the colors of the rainbow here. I'm going to start with red because I'm trying to go in rainbow order. So I'm going to take a couple pieces. I'm tearing mine a little bit smaller. So the trick is we have to first get our paper a little bit wet so that the tissue paper sticks, right? So I'm going to get it wet and then sort of stick some pieces on. And now they're not totally stuck down, so I'm going to get my brush wet again and then sort of paint on top. And what's going to happen is this red, you can see it's already starting to turn red and it's going to sort of bleed, we say. That means the color is sort of coming off of the tissue paper onto the paper. It's kind of like watercolor almost. So we're going to repeat that step now with the other colors of the rainbow. So I'm going to just sort of carefully overlap a little bit of my next color. I'm going to choose to make mine get a little bit bigger as I go farther down the rainbow. So every time I'm getting my brush wet and kind of pushing the tissue paper onto the paper. Be careful not to touch it too much because it will get all over your hands, of course, right? So I'm going to keep repeating this until I have gotten all the way to the end of my rainbow. This piece I'm going to go a little bigger. As you keep going, you can see this water is just kind of puddling. So let's move it a little bit. Instead of adding more water, let's just kind of move a little bit of the water that we already have on the paper from the orange into the yellow. Add a little more down here. I'm going to repeat those steps with green, blue, and violet. So I'm going to pause and I'll do that and show you how it turned out. All right, artists, so I have continued adding my colors. It's starting to get a little wet in here, so I'm going to keep kind of moving that water around a little bit. I'm also going to take my brush and just kind of bring some of the water out. So that means that I'm just kind of like touching where it's really wet and then sort of touching outside of my rainbow. So now the next thing is to let this dry. I'll let mine dry and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, artists, here is my finished paper. My purple and my blue didn't show up as well as I'd like, but I do really like how all the colors bled together and sort of spread out in this cool rainbow.